Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Melanie, and I am super jazzed to be here with you as always. Right out of the gate, I want to jump into the bread and butter of my spiritual hygiene practice because it is so foundational in my ability to function in a day-to-day capacity. Of course, I am talking about cleansing my energetic bodies, my physical bodies, my spiritual bodies, my emotional bodies, my astral bodies, and every other type of body I have, and you have, and we have. So in general, energetic cleansing. There is truly an endless array of methods, ways, materials, plants, sprays, and tools to utilize in cleansing oneself, and they all have subtle differences. As always, I really encourage you to start simple, stay consistent, don't overcomplicate things, and pay attention to what lands and hits for you. There is a big difference between ritualistically cleansing when a full moon rolls around and creating a daily or weekly practice of cleansing your energetic bodies. Cleansing in general has only really began to influence my life for the better when I dropped all of the expectations of that ceremonial and ritualistic approach and began to cultivate a slower, more intimate relationship with cleansing on a daily, weekly practice, and really simplified it so it was no more complicated than brushing my own teeth. The first question that usually comes up when we start discussing cleansing is, what should I use to cleanse with? Now, there is many ways to answer this, both metaphysically as well as practically, and I'm going to hit you with a bit of both. The first thing I would suggest considering when you're looking into cleansing is very mundane and very common sense, but is it legal, safe, and manageable for you to utilize the cleansing modality that you are intending to? If you live in an apartment building, I would not suggest doing a big smoke bath or cleansing yourself with a bunch of sage bundles all at once. Not only is this probably inconsiderate to your neighbors and your housemates, it's also probably breaking your bylaws and might set off fire alarms, etc. So I trust that you would have the capacity to make the common sense decision to use a different method or modality, potentially a herb bath or a spray or a small incense cone, as opposed to smoking out an apartment. On a more metaphysical level, this is going to require some introspection and communion with your own divinity, source, creator, the cosmos, God, whatever you like to refer to as that power that is larger than us that we all tap into as, and getting really clear on the energetics that might aid in the release and movement of whatever it is you're trying to clear. I simply check in with and see if there's any allies that I have, that I know of, or that are around that are willing to work with me. This can be something like a plant, or a crystal, or an animal, or maybe even a person. Maybe it's a practice like a cold plunge. Whatever it may be, allow some time for these tools and allies and other materials to show up in your 3D space so you can work with them to clear whatever you are intending to clear. That really intense squawking is a stellar jay. Almost sounds like a crow or a raven croaking, but it's a stellar jay. I can actually see it. She big and blue. The next step in our cleansing endeavors is usually, how do you cleanse? Now that you've selected the tool or the material that you're wanting to work with that you feel is going to be very powerful to shift and shake up those stuck and stagnant energies, how are we supposed to do it? I feel like as people, we often really have a need to have a right way and a wrong way. And like, if I do this step and this step, it's going to work guaranteed every time. And most things in life don't work out that way, especially when we're getting into things like energetics. There are many ways to cleanse, and it all depends on the modality or the tool that you've chosen to work with. Right now, for the past 2 years or so, I have been working with and building a relationship with Mapacho, which is ceremonial tobacco. It's often used in South America, shamanistic practices. So for this segment of this video, I'm going to be discussing smoke cleansing methodology so that you can take this information and apply it to whatever tools you're working with, adapt it, of course, and make it your own. The first thing I really want to drive home, which might not be something you're accustomed to hearing about in regards to cleansing, would be consistency. If you are just getting into energetically cleansing yourself and you are not used to doing it fairly frequently, or you per se can't trust yourself to intuitively know when to cleanse, I straight up suggest that you just start a schedule. Decide what day of the week you're going to consistently cleanse yourself and do it on that day. On Monday, we cleanse ourselves and start there. I also suggest that whatever way you decide to cleanse, you do it that way every time for a set time frame. One method for cleansing yourself would be to cleanse every energy center of your body. I've also seen people cleanse the 4 directions around them. You could cleanse particular body parts or muscle groups if you feel you are storing emotions or past memories or traumas in those specific regions in particular. Whichever way you choose to cleanse, again, I would strongly recommend that you stick with that method for an extended period of time. When you eliminate the amount of variables, it gives you the ability to notice really subtle shifts and changes. And especially when you're starting in a new practice, whether it's energetic cleansing or literally anything else, having that kind of consistency with the reduced variability allows you to get a lot more comfortable and eliminate some of the room for that level of doubt that can arise. Like, is it working? Did I do that properly? If you do it the same way every time, you'll start to be able to trust the subtle shifts in energy that you'll be able to perceive. On that note, we've talked about what you might use to cleanse. We've talked about how to cleanse, but when do you cleanse? I know I suggested creating a bit of a schedule if you're new to this, but other than that, I cleanse whenever the heck I want. I cleanse when I feel like I have picked up somebody else's emotions. I cleanse when I go into town. I cleanse when I come back home from town. I cleanse after having conversations with particular people if I feel really sticky internally afterwards. I cleanse when I'm bored and I want to prepare myself to shift into a different vibration. I cleanse in between art projects. I cleanse between different computer projects and work assignments. Truly, I cleanse whenever the heck I feel like it. I cleanse frequently and in situations and times when I probably don't need to cleanse, but I do this because it's given me a really potent gift, because it's allowed me to get very familiar with what my own resonance feels like in my body. So when that is off or tainted or affected by other people's energies or just mental tangents that I didn't check in time and now I've gone on emotional spirals, it's a lot easier for me to pick up on that shift because I have gotten very clear at what it feels like to be in alignment and to be clean and clear energetically in my own body. But to get to that point where I could tell what my own resonance felt like, that required a lot of cleansing. It required frequently tapping back in because I couldn't trust my own senses at the time to be able to intuitively tell me when I need to get or shift or move something. This also gave me the ability to pacify my very active mind and to eliminate that room for self-doubt. Instead of sitting there and thinking, oh, maybe I'm off, maybe I've picked something up when I was in town, are these my feelings? Am I feeling this sad or this heavy, or am I just taking things in from my environment? Instead of going on those mental tangents, I just cleanse now. I just cleanse. And that allows me to know, like, oh, I am feeling this sticky. These are my feelings. Okay, now I can look at that and take the appropriate steps from that place of knowing that they're mine. I'm not having to sit there and figure out how I'm going to process and comprehend and work through all of these hard emotions or all of this sticky, yucky feeling in my tummy, when in reality, it has nothing to do with me and I just picked somebody else's stuff in a grocery store. Now, out of everything that I've shared in this video, the most potent piece that I have learned in my own cleansing endeavors and sinking deeper into a consistent practice of this is the power of imbuing your intention in whatever methodology or modality of cleansing you are using. This looks different for each method, but a lot of people will simply lay their hands on their sage wand or their Palo Santo or their incense stick, place it on their heart, and set the intention that I am lighting this incense to cleanse and clear my energetic, spiritual, and emotional self. Or I am imbuing this aqua de Florida with the intention to shift and move stagnant energy in my body. Especially if you were working with crystals or plants, these things come with their own energetics, their own personalities, their own intentions, their whole own universe and dynamic. And you want to make sure that you are calling forth and working with the properties that are going to be beneficial for your cause, which is cleansing in this instance. So be it a spray or Palo Santo or Mapacho or Aqua de Florida, be dang sure that you are imbuing your intention to cleanse, clear, protect, whatever it might be, into your tool. Like I mentioned earlier, for the last few years I've been working and building a relationship with Mapacho very closely, and I will often say something along the lines of, Mapacho, I call you in. I ask that you help me cleanse, clear, and protect my energetic bodies as well as my physical body. Help me move, shift, and pivot all that is not serving me. When it comes to imbuing intention, there is no one size fits all. A lot of people will simply lay their hands on whatever product it is that they're using, be it a plant, Mapacho, Palo Santo, pick your poison. Lay their hands on it, put it on their heart, and say, hey, please guide, help, center me, cleanse, clear, and protect my energetic bodies. Be with me now. This is what I ask of you. Use the product. You can make a rhyme. You can say, hey, I really need help with this stupid headache. Get it out of my body. There's no wrong way to do it if it is in alignment and of service to you. I have one friend who will whisper sweet nothings to her tools, and it's adorable, hilarious, and so potent because it's like a little secret. She's like, hey, I really need your help to cleanse, clear, and protect my aura right now. Can you please just come in and just shift the energies and do whatever you gotta do and like be on my team? Thank you so much. I love you. Mwah, 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 mwah. And then she will spray her spray. And it's so uniquely her that of course it works. Of course it's powerfully imbued with her essence of juju and magic and deliciousness because it's so uniquely hers. It's her relationship with her products. It's her intention providing the power and her relationship with herself and this level of maintenance and intention and systematic layering of power and adds the juice to the action. Cleansing myself consistently and adding this sort of structured practice has done wonders for my personal journey. Cultivating a compassionate relationship for myself, to me, means showing up in the small, mundane moments and doing the maintenance. And that is what I've begun to view this practice as. This practice is my energetic hygiene and is truly the bread and butter of what holds me together fundamentally every day. In the nitty-gritty, yucky moments, it's how I show up and pay attention to my subtle bodies, my emotional realm, and I give myself space to feel what I'm feeling and to shift and move through it. If you've not worked with some sort of cleansing practice, I so strongly encourage you to adventure into this realm, create your own, build your own tools, check in with your own divinity and guides and intuition and see what hits and lands for you, because I truly believe that is one of the most powerful ways to create a practice that serves you. If you are wanting more from me on this topic, I would be more than happy to share my experience. Let me know in the comments below what you would be looking for in that regard. Of course, for the entire month of September, we are diving deep and unpacking a lot of self-love content, so feel free to visit the Self-Love September playlist. There are links in the description below to other YouTubers who have inspired and created their own Self-Love September content, Kellyanne Maddox being one of the main inspirations for this series for me. If this has been juicy for you, if there was anything valuable in this for you, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We are on a journey. I am so blessed to be able to have this opportunity to distill little nuggets of truth and wisdom out of my own experience. I would love to have you along as we sink deep and unpack some of the tips and tricks and tools of cultivating compassionate relationships with ourselves for the entire month of September. As always, dear lovely friends of mine, may the force be with you, and I will see you all back here very shortly for another video. Bye-bye for now.